What is up, everybody? This is RybackStun's. We have returned to Marvel Heroes, not the Test Center. I wanted to showcase to you guys my farm character, essentially. A lot of people use Juggernaut as their farm character. Spoiler alert, my farm character is Juggernaut. And the build that I run, the items that I use, and all the different little intricacies to the character that I end up using. So, the first thing is, this is a Sunday Punch build. Now, I know a lot of people go for the Strider build, the Big Elbow Drop build, and all that other lovely stuff. I am not a fan of the Big Elbow Drop. I was when Juggernaut first hit, and you can see that in my original Juggernaut video and my Havoc team-up preview video. But I feel that it requires a little too much movement when it comes to the character, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to get things off properly. It requires build choices that I don't agree with for this character. I'm going to disagree with things, so there's that. And a lot of you will probably think that this build isn't as optimized as it could be, but I have not been able to try it in reds. But I destroy greens, raids, and I very, very rarely take a heavy amount of damage in cosmic terminals. So we're going to go through this in a couple steps. We're going to look at my my power choices, my omegas, and my hero synergies, and then the items, and then I'm going to showcase to you how this works by killing Taskmaster on cosmic. So, because that's the measuring stick, right? Anyway, so powers. I will have a link to the naked powers and the full build itself. Not necessarily the naked powers, but the full build itself from marvelheroes.info into the description below, so look for that. 3 trees, Mystical Powerhouse, Unstoppable, Avatar of Sidorak. We've got 20 points in Rope-a-Dope. This is not my main damage dealer, obviously the Sunday Punches, but it's really nice to have this, that it restores my momentum as I'm attacking in between Sunday Punches, and it gains more attack speed as I have more momentum. So this is essentially 45% of my damage, maybe? Lariat 1 point, because that's what you get, but this is actually incredibly useful. It's what I use as my dash. I have it down here on A. It gives me my tenacity, it gives me the damage rating to movement power, so proc this up 3 times before you hit the signature, and boom. Then we also have Enter the Fray. Yes, this is a movement power, but the Sunday Punch build generally uses about half and half. It helps restore momentum, it gives me some tremor damage, some damage over time, which is nice, and I've got it at 46 ranks there. I do not use Earthquake, that's a point in there from the actual start of the build itself. I do have Max in, Can't Be Stopped, 35 ranks total. Lots of damage rating, gives me crit rating when I have tenacity, movement speed increases as I gain more momentum, and it increases my tenacity in and of itself, and as well as my crowd control debuff. Now, I don't actually have this on my bar because the tenacity that I have is so effective at the high level it is that I don't need the CC breaker. Nothing hits me long enough to make it so that I can't do anything except for Doom's stun during his different phases, but because I never play Doom, I don't bother. 2 points in Stride, because that was an extra point I had left over. The big damage dealer here is 20 points in Sunday Punch. Now, it can only be used when you have above 50% maximum momentum. You can see here at rank 20, it's got a moderate amount of damage. It does stun, and if when it spends the 50% of my maximum momentum, it gives me 4% per 10 momentum spent. So I got about 600 momentum total. So at 300, it's 30 times 4, so it's 120% damage. At rank 45, it does a lot of damage, and it also increases the stun by 5.4 seconds total. We do have maximum ranks in Unstoppable Charge. This is one of my favorite powers in the game. A lot of people says it's difficult to control. It kind of is, but if you run circles around your enemy, you can do that. 1 point in Devastating Charge for the times when I don't have Scion of Sidorak off cooldown to be able to continuously use Sunday Punch the 2 times I can, and I don't have any other ways of generating besides just Rope-a-Dope. So this actually helps a lot. It restores 50% of your maximum momentum, so that's an easy 300 for me right there. In Avatar of Sidorak, we have full ranks in Crimson Force Field, damage negated, health, defense rating, all that lovely stuff. Active effect is invulnerability duration. I do have that on my second click, but I rarely use it simply because I don't take as much damage as I would normally if I needed it. 1 point in Don't You Know Who I Am for the extra toughness. We have Lean Into It, which I'm going to go ahead and activate now, which is my main toggle, 20 points into that. Damage for melee non-movement powers, which is basically Sunday Punch and Rope-a-Dope. Sunday Punch's damage is increased for momentum by 21%. So instead of it, I guess it is 4.8%. I don't know exactly what the whole number is without Lean Into It on. Actually, I could probably just find that out by turning it off. Yeah, so I get 0.8% extra. which is not a lot, but it's there. 33 points in to lean into it. And then Scion of Sidorak gives me damage rating, crit hit rating, crit damage rating, restores 20% of my maximum health per second, maximum momentum, and then 8-second buff duration. Hero Synergy, I've got Black Panther for the melee damage, Cable for the crit chance, Colossus for the health and the physical damage. We've got Hawkeye for movement speed and critical damage. We've got Juggernaut for movement damage as well, because that's important. Defense and physical damage on Luke Cage. Physical power crit chance on Moon Knight. Melee damage on Nightcrawler. And we've got physical damage from Thor, and then Brutal Strike chance and Brutal Strike damage from Wolverine. Now, for Omega System, I've been kind of futzing around with this a little bit. Mainly, every build takes Spin Tech, which is 600 damage rating versus bosses. And I think it's supposed to be 40 damage rating is 1%. So this is, I think, 30%? I want to say 30% extra damage against bosses. Base damage, not total damage. Total damage would be awesome. Base damage is awful, but it's there. And it's only 400 points. I have 4 ranks of Warpath to give me 4 ranks of fighting for the extra damage and the Brutal Strike and all that other lovely stuff. I don't think I have anything here. I definitely don't have human augmentation done yet. I do have 4 ranks in Guilt Suppression Research to give me the extra brutal rating and momentum when I defeat an enemy. And then I also have 5 ranks in Tactical Neural Implant to give me the extra crit and crit damage. I might switch these around a bit. I don't really need... The Brutal Strike rating is good, but I might actually go and take Shadow King's Possession instead. I'll have to test that at a later date. But that's all I have for power, since none of the other stuff is incredibly useful to me. Now, in terms of items, a lot of my stuff is debatable. I enjoy what I use, so I'm going to continue using it. For uniques, Hammer of Kurth, Crimson Armor of Sidorak, Earth 1610 Battle Harness, X-Men Boots, and Thunderbolt's Helmet. Physical damage on the 1-5, Tenacity on the 2-4. We've got a Midtown's Guardian Signet, which is essentially +1 to my melee and +1 to my movement, so +2 to movement powers, actually. Also, when I use movement power, I gain the Midtown Momentum buff, which gives me 29% bonus damage, also base, for 5 seconds. Rune Word is Unstoppable Force. This is pretty helpful. Gives me crit rating, damage rating, reduces my power momentum cost. I don't know if that's actually effective, but damage to my physical attacks, and I have a 2% chance to gain 200 crit and 2000 crit damage, which is important. A lot of people go, Gibbereem is BIS. Gibbereem is probably BIS because you can get extra damage out of stuff. But I use Skrolos because nobody else uses Skrolos, 1. And 2, Tenacity is ridiculous. I could almost get to the 40% soft cap for him if I had enough of these with just Tenacity. Stack on all the other crit that I get from other sources, and bada bing, bada boom. Another thing that people say is Macran, I believe, is supposed to be BIS. I'm not entirely sure if that is accurate. It's probably not. I used Gun Gear because that's what I put on it first, and the extra crit damage helps a lot. Brutal Strike rating with Odin Rage is also pretty good. For my artifacts, all of them are healers, but we've got Blessed White Suit Jacket, we've got Blessed Advanced Crimson Crystal of Sidorak, we've got the Blessed Spider Clone Serum, and we have the Blessed Hand of Doom. Probably going to end up trading out the Spider Clone Serum for a Gorilla at some point in time, but I need to get a Gorilla, and those are incredibly difficult to get. Their trade value is ridiculously high, and I am upset about that. We also have a Juggernaut Medallion. A lot of people use Doom for the power duration. I think people use Bullseye for the crit and the damage. Some people use Grim Reaper for the brutal. I like Juggernaut because it gives me another source of 1 tenacity, 2 durability, 3 health, and 4 an invulnerability proc, which is incredibly valuable on Juggernaut. Juggernaut is supposed to be unstoppable, so let's make him unstoppable with invulnerability. Costume is all crit damage. I currently have regeneration and life on hit with durability and a size increase because I like being bigger than the actual Juggernaut boss himself. I think I'm tied with him, but bigger than everything else. I also have an Insignia of Pyotr Rasputin, gives me damage rating to melee powers. I have health and brutal strike rating. It is cosmic, so I have +1 to all my powers through that. And then my remote control Blackbird has base health, movement speed, 2% base damage to physical attacks, +1 rank to all powers, and 3 strength. So you can see I've got 10 durability, 11 strength, 10 fighting, 5 speed, 1 energy, 2 intelligence. My raw stats here are 49,000 health per minute. Defense rating is pretty high. Lowest is mental damage, which is 15, but my highest is physical, which is 18. Dodge is not important at all. 2,100 tenacity. And then just the attack speed alone is 5%. Crit rating is 34.5%, but melee crit rating is 36. Physical crit rating is 35, but let's just use 1 power. And that just bumped our physical crit damage to 54.1%. which increases as I use Lariat to gain tenacity. Brutal strike rating is 46.8%. That's with the healers and all the other stuff that I've got. Brutal damage is 431%, 36%, excuse me. Crit damage is 244. Damage rating flat 78%. Physical is 106%. Melee is 21.15%. 21.5. And then all the bases are there. So, let's go ahead and knock the crap out of a Taskmaster. Okay, this is interesting. I'm hoping that this does not mean that this is already complete. It can't be. I run through these things, I don't kill, I don't care about the bounty chests. I already have enough cosmic rings, midtown rings, or excuse me, ICP rings are generally better for non-hybrid heroes. And here we have Taskmaster. So he's got Mortar, Turret, Master, Brute Infested, and Power Cosmic. So I really dislike it when he doesn't drop down properly. Makes it difficult to judge what's going on. So I use, Enter the Fray, I try to tag, the Lariat a couple times, Sunday Punch once, and then immediately go into the charge. Now notice I'm doing circles around him, trying to at least. It's a little difficult. Generally, by the second Sunday Punch, I can knock him out. If not, then I continue doing Enter the Frays and all that other lovely stuff. No Taskmaster guide, which is what I'm looking for my Thor, but that's that. There is one thing I forgot to show you guys, my team up. And let's head back into the Shield Center really quick. Shield Training Room. Ugh. And for my team up, I use Drax. 300 damage to melee powers, defense rating isn't all that important, but the crit and brutal damage rating and strike rating plus attack speed is awesome at a 2% chance to hit. Only triggers every 30 seconds, but it does come in handy when I manage to proc it and do a lot of damage with a Sunday Punch or with the Unstoppable Charge. In terms of items, I got a Devastating Communicator here, physical, energy, and mental attacks. Screen, none of this matters except for tenacity, so the 47 tenacity there is actually incredibly helpful. I wish I could put tenacity on the pet, but I don't think they have that as of yet. Specialized hostile unit tracker. I've got melee and physical attacks, energy attacks for my other melee characters, which is nice. And then more tenacity on the specialized biometrics enhancer. Summon cooldown doesn't mean anything, but the tenacity helps a lot. Just it's 93 from these two alone. So that's helpful. But that is Juggernaut. That's how I run my guy. He's fun. He's my farmer. I kill all my cosmic bosses with it, even if they aren't, fun to play against, like Doom or Curse. And Juggernaut's my main. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm going to try to do a couple more videos of other characters that I play. Ooh, I'm almost at another Omega point. And once I get my Omegas in a better position, I'll update just what Omegas I would use on Juggernaut. If they make any changes to his build, I'll do some stuff like that. Check the link below for the MarvelHeroes.info thing for everything that I have in a concise, just picture way. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as it's showcasing it to you guys. Remember to like and comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Tumblr at RybackStun. More videos as they come along with that. This is RybackStun, signing out.